Hello everyone, this is SWTOR Snoopy here, back with another SWTOR public video. Today I have for you guys another SWTOR pub discussion video. In today's SWTOR pub discussion video, we're just going to be going over the Dark versus Light event. Now this is a new event that's going to be introduced in Star Wars Republic starting June 28th, 2016. And it's going to be a way where you can just level up a new character, completing certain objectives to try and get some cool rewards. So I hope you guys enjoy this SWTOR pub discussion video. As always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like. And if you guys want some nice gaming glasses, then check the links down below. No scope gaming glasses, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the discussion. Alrighty guys, let's get into the discussion right now. So as you guys know, in Star Wars Republic, there's a new event that's going to be coming out called the Dark versus Light event. Now this event is going to be focused on the idea of picking light side and dark side choices. Now there's going to be certain objectives that you will have to complete, and by completing these objectives you can get certain tiers or ranks or levels. And I mean, you can call them anything, but really what they do is they allow you to get, cool, unique rewards for this event, and they also allow you to get these, dark and light packs. And with these packs, you can open them and you can get some rare items, but they will be bind on pickup, so that means you can't sell these rare items. So it's mostly, just a chance at trying to get some cool new items, but at the same time you can't really trade them around or sell them on the GTN, so there's that. So the way that this works is you have a bunch of different objectives, and these objectives can range from, just simply leveling a character to like level 25 to level 65, or just, completing certain objectives like, reaching Valor rank 5 in PvP on a certain toon. And then also you have the obvious ones where, you do dark and light side choices to complete those objectives. And that's just kind of the way that it works. It's kind of like a way to, play some of the old content again in order to, just get some cool and unique rewards. But some of the rewards obviously aren't really unique. Well, I mean, they are unique, but they aren't new. And that obviously is from the packs, because those are all just, rare items that you can obtain, but they aren't new rare items. But with this event, you can also obtain, I believe, 2 new companions. So that's pretty cool right there, just to get new companions just by completing certain objectives. And it's just kind of, I say, not really a scavenger hunt, but it's just kind of like an achievement hunt. But you do have to have a new toon. So starting June 28th, 2016, depending on when you're watching this, this is the point where you start a new character, and then there will be an icon on your character that shows that it's part of the event. And then just by completing these certain objectives, you get into the different tiers, and then these tiers allow you to, of course, just get new items, get these packs to try and get some rare stuff, and yeah, all that other stuff right there. So it seems like they're trying to treat it like PvP season rewards, in a sense that with those rewards, you just gotta wait until the end of the event, or rather the season, to get your rewards. So it seems like that's what they're doing. They will have some rewards that you have to wait until the end of it, and they have some, you have to wait later after the end of the event, and they have ones that you can get just right away, which is like the packs and such. But then you can get cool mounts and stuff as well. I mean, they haven't really shown the mounts, so we aren't sure exactly if they're cool or not. But even then, I guess it's cool because you can get, a unique mount through this event. I believe you can actually get 2 because there's different ones at different tiers. So there's that right there. So that's something to note from this event. Now, one thing I do want to mention though is, I guess there is some backlash from this event when it was announced, because obviously, you just gotta keep on replaying the old content in order to get the achievements. Now, this really depends on the kind of player you are. I mean, if you do have a bunch of alts and you level all the story and you complete all the missions and such already, then this is going to be a bit of a pain, and some people don't really want to do it because obviously, they've already leveled so many alts, or they've leveled through all these stories and done all this stuff. And then BioWare is basically telling them they have to redo all of it, of course, for this event. But it can be like me, where you've only done like, I say, actually, 3 of the class stories, and you haven't done really anything. They aren't even max level your characters. So, of course, this can be pretty cool because it gives me, an incentive to just go ahead and just start leveling up more characters. But it can be understandable because it's basically a way, if you haven't already, I say, leveled up characters, then you get an extra incentive right here. But I can see how some people would want to actually go ahead and do this to just try and get the rewards. But at the same time, I can see why some people are irritated, because you have to, of course, I say, redo all that stuff in order to complete these certain objectives, which I will say some of them are really difficult. I mean, the one for the legendary level, or like the highest tier, I don't think I'll be able to do that at all. Even then, some of them seem a bit, I would say, a really hard task. So I'm just going to try my best to just try to complete, I guess, say a couple levels, or try to get towards, you know, the middle range. So I mean, some of them are really easy. I mean, the first one is just, you know, get a character to level 25. And that's really simple. Obviously, just get a level 25 character on one of the factions. But then you get some difficult ones where you have to, you know, complete, you know, all the class stories, get them to level 65, you know, complete Shadow of Revan and Knights of the Fallen Empire. Then you have to, like, do some PvP, certain operation bosses, which, I mean, those won't be a problem at all. It's just that it'll be really time consuming. So I guess it really comes down to if you have, you know, enough character slots and you don't have to buy more, or you do have to buy more, and if you're willing to, you know, take the time out of your day just to level those tunes and stuff, instead of, you know, say, passing on an or say, you know, doing an operation or just raiding with someone. So you can just go ahead and just level up and start getting all those achievements. But, you know, I will say it's a pretty unique concept on BioWare's part to try and introduce an event like this. But at the same time, I can see why there is some backlash from other players, mainly because, of course, like I said, a lot of people have already completed all the stories for all the classes. But even then, this kind of feels, or like some people said, I actually saw this on the r/, you know, Star Wars Republic on Reddit, the subreddit. But someone said, you know, this is kind of like a rehash in a sense, as in just, you know, it's like they could have done this earlier in time, like they could have done this in an earlier year near the beginning of the game, and it would have worked out better because a lot of people wouldn't have completed all the stories and stuff. But people said, you know, it's pretty far into the year, or pretty far into the game's life. So it seems kind of pointless to do an event where it seems like it's more catered to, you know, just starting the game, as in just an incentive to get through a lot of the content, instead of just, I would say, just later on or earlier. Because, I mean, even then, it kind of makes sense. I can see why someone would make that point, because even then it feels like, I would say, for the players that have already done most of the stuff, then they are going to have to do it again, or they're just not going to do the event at all. But for players that haven't done all that stuff yet, then it's going to be a really cool event, because it's going to allow them to go through the different class stories, and at the same time they're going to be rewarded for doing that. Which, I mean, it's kind of like, I say it's kind of like a trade-off, in the sense that, you know, you're going to get some players that are going to really like it, because there's going to be like, hey, you know, I normally don't level characters, but, you know, this is a good incentive just to get these rewards, or have a chance at getting some of this stuff. And then also, you know, it's kind of trade-off, because you'll have players that have already done it that will say, you know, this is really stupid. Why would you do this? Because it just doesn't make sense, in the sense that, you know, some players have already completed all this stuff, and then basically with this event they have to do it all over again if they want to get certain rewards. So I can definitely see the arguments right there, and why people don't exactly like what's going on. But I can say it's also pretty decent for an event, because I know, obviously, you know, BioWare, with the content and how slow it's been releasing, it's pretty understandable that they would do this event as well, because they just want to keep some of these subscribers here when they're waiting for Knights of the Old Republic, or Knights of the Fallen Empire. I have no idea why I said Knights of the Old Republic. Just messed that up. But even then, they want to keep players for Knights of the Fallen Empire. They just want to keep them for this whole entire, you know, because even then they have like the chapter a month, and then they have the content. And as you can tell, you know, they just have the chapter, they have the Alliance Alert, and that's basically it. They did have the Eternal Championship, though, as well, with one of the patches, and they have the new PvP Warzone. But even then, you know, they just want to keep certain subscribers here while they're waiting for that content. So obviously they decide to just implement this event to try to keep people here. Which, I mean, even then, it's still fine, because it does help some people, but at the same time I can see why people don't exactly like it. But in conclusion, I feel like it's going to be a fun event for some. I personally am going to try to complete some of the objectives. Now, will I try for the legendary status or the legendary tier? Probably not. I cannot see myself doing all that, you know, crazy stuff. But for some of the more simple tasks, or some of the simple tasks for the lower tiers, yeah, I'll probably try to complete some of them. But, I mean, that's all there really is to this event, you guys. I mean, it's really just a way to try and get some rare items, and then get some unique titles, mounts, and all that other stuff, of course. And then a pet, possibly. I believe that one of the tiers has a pet. So, of course, you know, it's just kind of a way to get some pets, titles, mounts, new unique stuff, and then, of course, getting some of the old rare stuff through these packs that they are releasing. So, anyways, guys, that's going to be the end. Yeah, that's going to be the end of this Star Wars Republic discussion video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Star Wars Republic discussion video. As always, if you guys enjoyed these videos, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.